Queen Camilla's tears for Holocaust victims as steadfast King Charles heads for Auschwitz. The historic visit by King Charles to Auschwitz-Birkenau later this month comes 5 years after his wife became the first British royal to visit the horror site. Queen Camilla, then the Duchess of Cornwall, appeared to be visibly emotional at times during a service at the Nazi concentration and extermination camp near Oswiecim, Poland. It was held to mark the 75th anniversary of the camp's liberation by Soviet forces on January 27, 1945. What the Red Army found there would change the history of the world forever. 5 years later, Charles will become the first reigning British monarch to visit Auschwitz for the 80th anniversary. Speaking to a Holocaust survivor at Buckingham Palace last week, he said, "I feel I must go for the 80th anniversary. It's so important." Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. It is estimated that at minimum 1.3 million people were deported to Auschwitz between 1940 and 1945. Of these, at least 1.1 million were murdered. 9 in 10 were Jews. Overall, 6 million Jews, 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population, were murdered by the Nazis as part of the final solution devised by Adolf Hitler. Against the backdrop of such evil, it is no surprise that Camilla found the memorial service in 2020 to be incredibly emotional. On a freezing cold and misty evening, she walked along the railway lines that once brought prisoners to the death camp before placing a candle at the International Monument. Renee Salt, an Auschwitz survivor who later went on to marry a British soldier, said at the time, "To have the support of the royal family is of huge importance, not just to me, but to all survivors and the collective memory of our country." Camilla has often appeared to blink back the tears during Second World War commemorations. In 2010, she had to turn her head away during a visit to a church in Prague where Czech soldiers made an heroic last stand. She also had tears in her eyes last year during a service in Portsmouth to mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day in June 1944. Her father, Major Bruce Shand, won 2 military crosses for his bravery as an army officer. The first for his actions during the retreat to Dunkirk and the second in North Africa, where he covered the withdrawal of the 6th Rajutana Rifles. Major Shand met Winston Churchill before the Second Battle of El Alamein, was captured in November 1942 and held as a prisoner of war until the end of the conflict. He died in 2006. Meanwhile, the late Queen Elizabeth's first and only visit to a Second World War concentration camp came in 2015, when she made a personal and reflective trip to Bergen-Belsen. "It must have been horrific," she said to Navy pilot Captain Eric Winkle Brown, then aged 96, from West Sussex, one of the first British officers to enter its gates on April 15, 1945. Queen Camilla's ongoing pneumonia recovery could mean her and King Charles skip one big royal Christmas tradition. Queen Camilla came down with a chest infection in November 2024 before later revealing it had been pneumonia. Queen Camilla's still on the mend, which means Christmas could be different for her and King Charles III. Those close to Queen Camilla say she and the King might change their plans for December 25, 2024, and skip a royal family Christmas tradition to accommodate the Queen's ongoing recovery. On the heels of a royal tour with King Charles, more on that ahead, Queen Camilla came down with what was initially described as a chest infection. Later, it was revealed to be a type of pneumonia. Camilla has chosen to clarify that the specific viral chest infection she had was a form of pneumonia, a palace source said. She has recovered well but continues to experience episodic symptoms of post-viral fatigue. She skipped some of the outdoor activities during the Qatari state visit, attending indoor events. Since getting pneumonia in early November, however, Camilla's been replaced at various events. Yet another health setback for the royal family, Queen Camilla's condition has, according to a Daily Beast report, worried her friends. People forget that Camilla never set out to be queen, a source told the outlet. Camilla, they continued, never signed up for the hamster wheel. She just happened to fall in love with a prince. She has risen to the demands of the job, but she finds it exhausting. Walking to St. Mary Magdalene Church is a key part of the royal family's Christmas traditions. Located near the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, England, well-wishers and press line the path to the church's entrance and greet members of the royal family as they make their way inside. There's conversation, waves, bouquets of flowers, and maybe the occasional selfie. According to one of Queen Camilla's friends who spoke to the outlet on behalf of the group, walking to church may not happen for her and King Charles this year due to the ongoing pneumonia recovery. We are all extremely concerned that this happened. Thank goodness she seems to have recovered, they said. Camilla just needs to rest and recuperate now over Christmas, and I only hope they drive her and the king to church on Christmas Day if it's cold. Even though Camilla has slowly returned to duties, getting pneumonia has been a big concern, especially considering the brutal year she and the royal family have had. Prince William said that his year had been brutal and the hardest of his life, a source told the publication. I would humbly suggest that Camilla has had a brutal year too. To get pneumonia at her age is no small thing. She was run down and vulnerable, and she needs to be cared for as well. The Queen's close friends also suggested the royal tour of Australia and Samoa she and King Charles embarked on from October 18 to 26, 2024, was possibly too much for the Queen. At 77, to be shipped off to the other side of the world to shake hands with thousands of people when your husband has cancer is, quite frankly, too much to ask, they told the publication. It marked the pair's first big royal tour since the King's cancer diagnosis in February 2024. King Charles paused treatment for the duration of the trip. As the tour ended, Queen Camilla seemingly burst into tears when King Charles mentioned his own mortality in a speech. I shall always remain devoted to this part of the world and hope that I survive long enough to come back again and see you, he said. Camilla would never complain, they added. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.